What up, everyone? It's Grammy night. I'm your host, Tetris Kelly, coming to you from Billboard News. We've got a great show for you. We've hit up all our sources to get you all the latest info before all the stars hit the Grammys red carpet. We're sitting down with nominees like Olivia Rodrigo, Giveon, and Arlo Parks. We're getting exclusive behind-the-scenes Grammy intel from some of Billboard's best, and we're having our Twitter audience weigh in on the year's biggest surprises and upsets. Yeah, that's you. So I got my Grammy drip on, the studio is decked out, and the red carpet is moments away. Now all we gotta do is run it down. This is Billboard News presents music's hottest night. First up, y'all, our executive editor of music, Jason Lipschutz, is here to give us all the inside scoop on what everyone's talking about. And yeah, that includes Kanye and BTS. What up, Jason?
What's going on, man?
I don't know that I've ever seen you this ready to party.
I am ready. I got the leather pants, I got the jacket. You look great, but
Thank you, man, but you're killing it. Okay, we got to talk about it. The Oscars, super tense situation. I feel like that energy's kind of carrying it into the Grammys. What do you feel like everybody's talking about?
Yeah, I mean, you got to start with Kanye West, one of the most polarizing figures in all of music. He's up for Album of the Year for the first time in 14 years.
Wow, it's been that long?
Yeah, since graduation back in the day, and now Donda is up for Album of the Year, and of course Kanye is going up against his old friend Taylor Swift in that category.
That's loaded.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of presence he has at these Grammys after all the controversies, all the statements. See what happens.
I'm really wondering if he's going to show up at all. I mean, it's a tough subject all around. But Jason, tell me what's next. What else is everybody talking about?
So BTS, will BTS win their first ever Grammy Award? They were nominated before. They're performing tonight. I think the Army definitely wanted some Big Four representation for Butter, Record of the Year, Song of the Year. It didn't happen. However, they could still have an enormous night because of that performance and because of their first ever Grammy Award potentially.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, Jason, I'm Army. I was really rooting for Dynamite, rooting for Butter this year. Do you think Butter might have more of a chance this year? Because it killed it on the Hot 100. It did much better than Dynamite.
10 weeks at #1 last year, the song of the summer of 2021. Yeah, I mean, look, both are huge hits, but Butter got there a little bit more strongly, and it could be the one to put them over the hump as Grammy Award winners.
Now, this performance, last year they did the whole thing going up the stairs, performing on a roof. What are they going to do this year? And I know I'm a little worried because Jungkook, he was diagnosed with COVID-19. Do we think we'll get all 7 of them at the performance?
Fingers crossed. I hope all 7 can make it out because obviously they're stronger as a unit. It's going to be interesting to see what they perform and how they perform it. Everybody's hungry for new BTS music. Will they do Butter, Permission to Dance? I guess we'll see something new maybe. I don't know, but I think the Army and all BTS fans around the world are just anxious to see them take the stage.
What they're going to perform and also what they're going to wear. I cannot wait to see what my boys are wearing. I could talk about BTS all day. What else we got going on?
So what's interesting is that in the Big Four categories, you have this showdown between the old school and the new school, where you have a legend like Tony Bennett up for Album of the Year, Record of the Year. You have Lady Gaga, you have Taylor Swift, you have Kanye, you have veterans of the Grammy Awards going up against Olivia Rodrigo, Lil Nas X, Doja Cat, some of the new stars that have helped define popular music over the past 2 to 3 years. Who's going to walk away with the big wins tonight? I think that's really fascinating to me.
It's fascinating because you say like new artists, and I guess you say 2 to 3 years, but for me, I feel like we've been listening to Doja Cat and Lil Nas X for so long that they don't even seem that new to me.
Yeah, and part of that is the pandemic, and part of it is just they're already superstars. Olivia Rodrigo has only been in the mainstream a little over a year, but it feels like she's been around for so long, and it could be her big night.
And it seems like every one of these newer artists has mega social media followings, so many millions and millions of followers. Do you think the Academy takes that into consideration with nominations?
Supposedly they don't. Here's what Academy CEO Harvey Mason Jr. had to say about it, though.
The voting is entirely based on quality. And remember, our voters are all music professionals, so people who work professionally in creating music. And they are not taking into consideration social media. They're not looking at streams. They're not looking at popularity. You're voting simply for the person or art or work that is, in your mind, excellent, not taking into consideration any outside factors.
What are your thoughts on that?
It seems difficult to separate their artistry from the hundreds of millions of followers that they have combined. But, you know, it's obviously a celebration of the music and of the achievements in music.
Which brings me to our first guest, Olivia Rodrigo. Outside of having me going through all kinds of emotions this past year, You guys heard the album. This former Disney Child star has had a serious glow up, earning a whopping 7 nominations on her debut album. It's not surprising. Our in-house pop expert Rania Aniftos is sitting down with her to talk all about it.
With the Grammys coming up, where you're nominated for a bunch of awards and you're performing, which must be crazy.
So insane.
Does it mean so much more to you for that type of celebration and recognition to come from an album that was so personal and such a heartbroken time in your life?
Oh my gosh, completely. I mean, I think Sour was just me pouring my heart out and processing emotions that I needed to process. And writing it, I didn't really even think about how it was going to be perceived or if people were going to like it or if it was going to, get any awards or anything. And so for it to kind of receive the honors that it has is just beyond any of my wildest dreams.
Do you have a different relationship with some of the songs now that they're out and you've seen how people react and respond to them?
Totally. Yeah. I think once you put out a song into the world, they kind of just like take on a whole new meaning. And that's been a really fun thing to kind of experience. And that's another reason I'm so excited to go on tour, is, to see everyone kind of resonate with these songs in a real way. I think it's going to kind of make me see them in a whole new light. That was one of the most interesting parts, I think, like looking back on me making the album. And I just remember having like so many doubts and I was like, nobody's going to like any of this. Like, oh my gosh. And it's cool that lots of people did. So that's, I guess, maybe confidence boosting. I just always use creativity and songwriting as a means to get out of hard feelings or hard situations and kind of help me get over them. And so I don't know, I would love it if people were inspired to kind of create stuff given their kind of sad feelings too. That'd be really cool.
Man, I love Olivia Rodrigo. Can you not agree?
I mean, one of the defining artists of the past year plus. Driver's License, Good For You. Sour is front to back a classic debut.
Classic, man. This is why I like hanging out with you. Thanks so much, and I'll see you later in the show.
Absolutely, man.
Now, Olivia Rodrigo isn't the only Best New Album nominee we're sitting down with today. Our girl Iran is kikiing it with none other than the heartbreaker himself, Giveon.
Thank you so much, Giveon, for being here.
Of course.
I really appreciate it. 3 years ago, I mean, you were literally waiting tables.
Yes.
And now here you are, 6 Grammy nominations later this year.
6.
That's
hearing the number out loud every time is just
no, that's so surreal.
yeah, it's really cool.
We know music has always been such a big part of your life, but like, what was that one defining turning moment?
As an artist, it's when I discovered the idea that there's a difference between being a vocalist and being an artist. That's when I started to take it serious. When I really started to realize, oh, this is gonna be a thing that I could do. I don't have to wait tables anymore. When I put a song on SoundCloud, and I think I got like a couple thousand streams, which in my mind was massive. So I was like, oh, this could be a real thing.
One of your nominations is for Best R&B Song with Heartbreak Anniversary.
Yes.
Heartbreak anniversary, do you ever think of me?
Does that nomination feel different than the others that you received?
Yes, because for me to be able to just stick to myself and not switch my writing style, my sound, my lyrics, and still get this type of validation, it makes it a lot more sweeter.
Your other 5 nominations are for Peaches with Justin
Yes.
Bieber and Daniel Caesar. I mean, that song has stayed on repeat.
Peaches is just everywhere. I was at the airport bathroom and I heard myself singing and I was like, what? The coolest thing about Peaches is everyone bringing their specific thing and then adding it to this song, this atmosphere, this work. So I think the best thing I did was me being a part of this song, I stayed me.
My producers are making me ask this question.
Oh no.
How does it feel to be on everyone's sex playlist? I have to ask you.
Well, like what, so why are people crying? How is that working? Kind of sounds like a contradiction to me. I don't think they're really listening. I celebrate every playlist, honestly.
One arrow, one heart, one love.
Now for some fun, we're using this like fill in the blank game. Are you competitive? I'm getting
I'm very
that.
competitive.
Okay.
Wait, are we competing or?
No, it's not.
Oh.
But it's
Okay.
speed.
Because you were gonna lose.
Well, I'm glad we ain't competing then.
All right.
You'd be shocked to learn that I'm a big fan of.
You would be shocked to learn that I am a big fan of Pixar. Animated movies, that's one of my go-tos.
Favorite Pixar movie then?
That's very hard. It's like asking your favorite child, but right now it's Coco.
The very last song that I listened to was?
Circles by Post Malone.
The weirdest thing that I do before I get on stage is?
You know, I have an intro and there's music playing and I'm just like, you know, just vibing to the music. Like an old man, you know? This is the most you're gonna get out of me, honestly. I walk out. Am I winning?
I told you this isn't a competition,
Oh,
but
okay.
listen, you are a winner, okay?
Thank you.
You probably wouldn't guess this, but I'd love to do a duet with?
Tame Impala.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm here for it. The worst job I've ever had was?
Chuck E. Cheese.
Oof. Big blow to Chuck E. Cheese.
You can't fire me again. It's like.
Exactly. You're Grammy nominated. Come on now.
You know, I had to get into the mouse.
Wow.
Throw tickets, and it was like every 30 minutes.
My prediction for best R&B song is?
Heartbreak Anniversary by Giveon.
My prediction for album of the year is?
Justice by Justin Bieber.
Shout out Justin.
Shout out to Justin Bieber.
On Grammy night, my goal is to?
Win a Grammy.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much, Giveon.
That's it, we're good?
Yeah.
Wow, I want to
you
go
won.
more. Yes.
Good luck at the Grammys. Really hope you bring one home.
Yes, I hope so too. Thank you.
Now, you know we gotta make our bets and predictions, and here to help are some of Billboard's finest. And I mean fine. What's up? We got Rania and Lindsay. Hey, ladies.
Hello, hey.
I mean, are you performing tonight, Rania?
Yeah, I'm about to steal the Grammys from everyone.
You are walking in, you're taking all the trophies.
All of them, just give them to me.
Speaking of the trophies, let's talk about the Big Four. Song of the Year, who do we think is gonna win?
Well, critics are really, really rallying behind Olivia Rodrigo because obviously Driver's License was such a massive, massive hit for Olivia. But yeah, we've been debating it though. I don't know if we all feel the same way.
I mean, the Billboard offices have been heated about this debate, so we wanted to see what our readers had to say. Looks like they think that Olivia Rodrigo's Driver's License will win with 29.4% of the votes. Second is Billie Eilish's Happier Than Ever, coming in at 16.5%. And coming in at fifth is Bieber with 8.8%. I'm a little shocked he's that high on the list. I wasn't like hearing Peaches as much as I think the other songs on the list. How do you guys feel about the poll?
Well, I'm just surprised you didn't mention this, but Ed Sheeran's number 3, which I thought was very surprising.
His songs play everywhere all the time. I don't even have to listen to the album. It's on the radio.
Yeah, I mean, the voters, I sort of agree with them. I also think it's important to note that there's 10 nominees in each of these Big Four categories now, so it's easier to spread your vote out among more artists than ever. So I agree with them. I think it checks out, and you know, call me a critic. I also think Olivia's going to win. I think it is totally her year. Driver's License was undeniable, and I can see her going home with a lot of trophies.
Well, Billie went home with a lot of trophies in the past. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, so Billie swept the Big Four not too long ago. She was only the second artist to ever do it after Christopher Cross. And now that Olivia's in a similar position to sweep the Big Four, I'm rooting for her because I love that narrative of another young woman being able to do that so soon after Billie did.
No, I think that would be beautiful for young women, but I gotta go back to you, Rania. I feel like you have thoughts on Justin Bieber.
I do. I just think that it's crazy that arguably one of the biggest pop artists in the whole world has never won in the Big Four category. Even back when he was nominated for Best New Artist alongside Drake, and they both lost. And then later he was nominated for Purpose and Love Yourself, which are his bigger hits, and never took home a trophy for it in the Big Four category.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about all of his new heat. I'm talking about the old school though. Never Say Never should have won a Grammy. Come on, that was a bop. Never Say Never.
I'll give it to you. I agree, yeah.
Jaden Smith needed his moment too.
Oh yeah, you know, raised by the power of will, no pun intended. Well, we polled our Twitter audience to see if they thought this would be Justin's year, and here's what they had to say. 64.8% of you said, yes, this is the year he wins a Big Four. It looks like the people at home think Biebs is gonna do it. Is it gonna happen?
I agree. I just think this new era of Justin is so much more natural to who he's becoming as a human being. He's grown up so much, and I just think he deserves some recognition for all this hard work he's put in over the past decade plus, you know?
Yeah. He's a different man now.
Yeah, I mean, would I love him to win? Of course. Do I think he will win? No.
Okay,
I just don't think it's his year.
Lindsay.
Yeah, and you know, Justin, I love you. I know you're watching, but I don't see it for him this year. You know, like I said, I'm really rooting for Olivia. I think she's sort of had an undeniable success, and he sort of falls in this middle ground of he's not as young and as new and exciting necessarily as a Billie or an Olivia, but he's also not quite yet at Ye or Taylor levels. So, you know, I think he could take home some awards, just maybe not in the Big Four.
I'm a little worried for you, Lindsay. I think Justin Bieber might slide in those DMs. Look, if you get an angry DM from Justin Bieber,
Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing?
Let me know. It's always fun having you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Now, it's always important for Billboard to highlight new artist nominees that you need to know about. And today we're kicking it off with just a few of them. Our next guest is a 21-year-old British singer-songwriter that just released her debut album last year. She's gotten praise from everyone from Billie Eilish to Michelle Obama, and now she's up for 2 Grammy nominations, including Best New Artist. Let's get started. What's up, Arlo, girl? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm blessed and blessed to be here. The show is tonight. How are you feeling? What's your headspace?
Nervous, excited, overwhelmed. I think those 2 things together, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
That's 3 things that I think can make for a good time, though. You're going to take all that energy and you're going to put it in a good place. And speaking of being nominated for Best New Artist, that's an interesting category for me because I feel like a lot of times you guys don't feel new. You've been doing this like for a while. So tell me your story. Where'd your journey begin?
So essentially I started off just, a lot of music was playing in my household. And I picked up the guitar, I picked up the piano, and then I literally just looked up, you know, how to make a lo-fi hip hop beat on GarageBand.
Wait, you just like Googled it?
Yeah, and then I found out how to do it, and then I taught myself, and that was it.
Wow. And what was the moment that you felt like, okay, this is taking off, this is blowing up into something bigger than I thought it would?
I guess putting my music on SoundCloud and then uploading it to the BBC radio stations. That's when I got discovered, and that's when things started taking off, so I just kind of took things into my own hands.
And that's interesting you mentioned SoundCloud, because earlier today we talked to Giveon, and he kind of said the same thing. So with that kind of being the trajectory you guys took, do you have any advice for other artists out there that are trying to make it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess just believing in yourself and in what you're making and just taking matters into your own hands, using the internet as a resource and just putting yourself out there, being brave about it.
Wow, I'm like, back in the day, I guess people, what do they do, mail tapes to people, like mail CDs? You're like, use the internet, it's right there in front of you.
For sure.
Taylor Swift has shouted you out. You're touring with Billie Eilish, Maggie Rogers, and now with the Grammys being tonight, I already love your style. You're dripping all over the place right now. Are you stressed about what to wear? Have you already thought about it? Can you give me a preview of what your Grammy red carpet look is?
I have definitely planned out what I'm gonna wear, but it's a surprise. It's something custom, and it's a designer that I've been a fan of for a while, but I'm just gonna keep it to that.
Can't wait to see. I'm gonna be looking for you. I'll look for you. Take it all in, enjoy yourself, and we will be rooting for you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
It. Thank you.
We have talked pop, we've talked alt, we've talked R&B, and now here to talk all things Latin music is Billboard's very own Griselda Flores. What's up?
Hey, what's up? I'm excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you because, you know, we couldn't skip over Latin music and I trust nobody else to run it down other than you. So tell me, what's going on with Latin music at the Grammys?
There's a lot going on and I have good and bad news.
Okay, let's start with the good.
Okay, so for the first time since 2009, Latin Urban has its own category. In previous years, what happened was it was being lumped with Latin pop or even Latin alternative, which just seemed careless, right?
Because that seems wild.
Right, because Latin Urban is a huge genre that has only globalized Latin music. So for it not to have its own category just seemed wild.
That's crazy that Urban has had to fight for this recognition. So who are some of the people that are nominated in the category?
Only heavy hitters. So we have Bad Bunny's El Último Tour del Mundo, J Balvin's Jose, Karol G's Caje 0516,
Wait.
Kali Uchis Sin Miedo, and Rauw Alejandro's Afrodisíaco.
Stop it. Like, that's literally everybody. They all have big bangers.
Oh my God, yes. And I think Bad Bunny will win, but I'm hoping that Karol G gets this award, and I think it would be a huge statement if a woman wins it.
Well, I'm glad. I can't wait to see what happens with the winners in that category. But you said bad news. Don't ruin my day, but what's the bad news?
So the bad news is that there's no Latin artist nominated in the big 4 categories.
Wow, I mean, that's shocking, especially considering how much Latin music has kind of taken over the airwaves and the world.
Yeah, I mean, it happens year after year, so we're not surprised by it. You know, Latin music is now global. Latin music is mainstream. So, you know, I don't know what it'll take for a Latin artist to get up there, but we hope it'll happen soon.
And I mean, I feel like it continues to grow. We saw it happen with Despacito. It had the record on the chart for a while, and then having Shakira and J-Lo at the Super Bowl, I'm like, where else can we go to prove that the Latin music needs the love?
We don't know. So whenever we figure it out, because I feel like every Latin artist continues to prove that we are worthy of being where we should be. So we only hope that we get the recognition and those Latin artists that have worked so hard get the recognition they deserve.
Now, speaking of the big 4, who do you think from this year's nominees should have been nominated in one of the big four? I have a name I kind of think we all may feel, but I want your expert opinion.
Yeah, well, I have so many that come to mind, but the obvious one is Bad Bunny.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, he's been killing it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've continued to write stories about him breaking records. He's Spotify's most streamed artist. He just sold out arenas. Now he's coming up with the stadium tour. He's huge.
I mean, I can see that everybody has been at Bad Bunny's show. I see it on Instagram, TikTok. You were there?
I was there.
Was it not amazing? I had so much FOMO.
It was incredible, one of the best shows I've ever been to. So he is doing so many huge things, but the most important thing is that his music is great. So I think he should be nominated in the top 4 categories.
Now, there's some new information of a first this year. So what was our first in the Latin category?
So Selena Gomez got her first ever Grammy nomination. Her first ever.
Ever? That's wild.
With a Latin album, Revelación.
So not for Hands to Myself or Come and Get It, all those pop smashes. It was Latin music that brought her to the award show.
Yeah, that album was very special because it took her core pop sound but fused it in a really organic way with reggaeton, urban beats, Caribbean beats. So I think Grammy voters just really appreciated that side of her.
Well, congrats to Selena. I hope she does well. And also, thank you for stopping by and always running it down for all my Latin music.
Thank you, Tetris.
Of course. Now, earlier today, Griselda sat down with a few of the other Latin nominees, which we hope to hear from more in the coming year. Take a look.
If you win Best Latin Pop Album, it would be your first American Grammy. What would that mean for you?
Bueno, es muy fuerte. Es muy fuerte porque imagínate, ¿no? Que de tantos álbumes del mundo latino, que el mundo anglo, que el mundo americano considere, o sea, nada más que me hayan considerado como uno de los mejores álbumes latinos de este año, ya es suficiente honor para mí. Significa que colegas de un mundo que respeto muchísimo y que sigo muchísimo, como el mundo de la música, bueno, del general market de la música, me valoren a mí como igual, como compositor, como productor, como artista.
In the past, you described Mis Manos as the best work you've done with the most challenging songs you've written. A year later, would you describe the album that way?
El oficio mío como compositor es muy bonito porque transforma aquello que estoy viviendo en algo inmortal, que es, en mi caso, canciones. Pero claro, a medida que van pasando cosas nuevas, van habiendo un montón de cosas nuevas por inmortalizar. Entonces, por supuesto que yo soy una persona completamente diferente en este momento a la que era cuando hice el álbum Mis Manos. Mis Manos también es mi mejor álbum hasta ese momento.
You won't be at the Grammys because you have your first baby on the way. Congrats on that. So how will you spend your Grammy day?
Bueno, it's so funny that I've been dreaming with being there for so long, and I'm not going to be able to be there because of a blessing, pero igual no voy a poder estar ahí, obviamente, porque se cruza muy ahí con la llegada de Índigo, y primero es lo primero, por supuesto, pero sí que sabemos que vamos a estar aquí en la casa con el computador al frente y cruzando los dedos, obviamente bajo la cámara, para no parecer que estamos así, vamos a tener cara de como, like, the poker face that you put, like, so you can, like, whatever, like, whatever, like,
Thank you for bringing color into our lives. Thank you for bringing this into our set. I want to congratulate you on such an album that is beautiful, sonically, lyrically. Which song on that album are you most proud of?
I think my favorite song is Como Lo Pedí. It's talk about visualization, about what do you want in life. So I think it's beautiful.
This album thrives on who you are as Bomba Estéreo, your sound, your sonority, Colombian roots, Colombian pride all around.
The world that I come from is like that. Everybody wear colors, everybody's like happy, everybody's dancing in the street. What I can show is what I am. where I come from. My family, mis abuelos, my mom, my dad, you know, all this, my neighborhood. So I always put this in my art.
You're going to Vegas for Grammy night. How are you feeling? And also, what can we expect to see you when it comes to your outfit on the red carpet this year?
It's a surprise, but it's so cool. It's a part of the album cover and stuff. My friend artist Orliana, she's amazing and she makes beautiful things.
Right now, we want to do something fun where we're going to ask you some questions that we're asking all of our nominees. So using a little fill in the blank game. Okay. So you'd be shocked to learn that I'm a big fan of
Justin Bieber.
It's really in serio?
I love him. I'm in love with him.
Is there a song that's your favorite?
I love Sorry.
That's my favorite too. The very last song I listened to was
Como una flor de Selena.
You probably wouldn't guess this, but I'd love to do a duet with
Daft Punk.
The worst job I've ever had was?
I think every job is cool. I'm from Colombia, so I'm lucky to have a job. So every job that you have is okay.
It's true, yes. My prediction for best Latin rock or alternative album is
Bomba Estéreo.
On Grammy night, my goal is to
win the Grammy.
Yes.
And go with Justin Bieber to my bed.
Lee, well, thank you so much for this interview. I wish you the best of luck at the Grammys.
For 24 years, the Best Dance Electronic Recording Grammy category has been awarded to club hits from everyone to Madonna, Daft Punk, Donna Summer, and my personal fave, Miss Britney Spears. I'm sorry, I'm a big fan. Now this next group hailing from Australia hopes to be the category's next winner. Our electronic dance music expert, Katie Bain, is here to chat with RÜFÜS DU SOL about their Grammy-nominated recording, Alive.
We have RÜFÜS DU SOL here, Tyrone, James, John. Thank you for joining us and congratulations on your nomination this year. How does it feel to be nominated again, especially for some of the first music that you've put out since your last nomination?
Feels good. I think we're really excited. You know, we've had a wild couple of years, the same as everyone else, and it's good to be on the other side of it somewhat.
The last time we spoke, you guys told me that you had a pretty clear routine when you were making the music that's on this album. Take me through sort of all of the things that you did in the morning before you made music to sort of get yourself to the space where you could then create.
Yeah, well, so it sort of started with this setting the intentions at the start of the record writing process. So we would all wake up and meditate for like 10 minutes together as the sun's sort of rising. And then we would go and have a sauna together for half an hour. We'd do a cold plunge. We would start the day like that every day and get in the studio and have playtime in the studio.
That was just such a good time period for us to be able to reconnect as friends and reconnect with our love of making music and what it means for us.
And I know that you guys have obviously been performing this music on tour. How does a song like Alive, which is so rich and so textural, how does it then grow when you're playing it for a live audience?
There's like a period when you're writing a song too where you I don't know, it's hard not to imagine what it's going to feel like to play it live. So there's a little sample that we got in the track, which is basically like a football crowd roar.
Oh, yeah.
And it was kind of like, we were kind of like picturing what it would feel like. It's like, oh, hearing that in the actual setting and hearing a crowd really roar, and I don't know, it's surreal.
We have a fun game now that we're going to play, some rapid fire questions.
All right.
Okay. You'd be shocked to learn that I'm a big fan of...
Actually, yeah, okay. Pop music.
Sure.
Like good, classy pop music.
Like, who's the classiest pop music maker?
Like Hit Me Baby One More Time by Britney Spears. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah,
I like that one.
I respect that, absolutely. The very last song I listened to was...
I was listening to the Arctic Monkeys record AM because these guys were talking about it last week, so I enjoyed that listening experience over the weekend.
Okay. The weirdest thing I do before I go on stage is...
I have to pee. Like, I have a really weak bladder and I have to make sure my system is completely empty before I go on stage, because otherwise I've come close to
the unimaginable.
The unimaginable on stage.
Sometimes I'll do push-ups, something to pump you up, like it feels kind of expected.
You gonna do them for us?
I have to ask you now to do a push-up.
Oh yes.
like just that. Good form, good form.
Great, perfect form. Beautiful.
But it just feels good.
Strong.
It feels nice to do that. Get some
Sure.
blood pumping. Already I feel blood going to my head.
Yeah, no, you look a little rosier.
A little rosier.
Yeah.
Color in the cheeks.
My prediction for Best Dance Electronic Recording winner at the Grammys this year.
Well, us, of course.
We are in the company of a lot of great artists that we love, like Bonobo and Pete. We love their music.
Yeah.
You know, but we're gonna back ourselves.
On Grammy night, my goal is to...
We have a DJ set after, so that'll be like a really fun opportunity to play some tunes and like hang with our whole team.
Best of luck. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having us.
Pleasure, always.
What a great conversation. I've been obsessed with them since Coachella 19, but Katie, this is the first time you stepped out here tonight, and don't tell the other girls, I think you might be the best dressed. I mean, the bling, the shoes, the dress, you're killing it, but you're here to talk about electronic dance music, so give me the rundown on how it's being treated at the Grammys.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually a really wild category because you have some of the biggest pop superstars in history having won. Madonna, Rihanna, Britney, Justin Timberlake, Lady Gaga, Daft Punk, Diplo, Skrillex, the Chainsmokers. And so it's crazy that we don't actually see this award being given out on television.
Yeah, I know. Me and the Britney Army are really upset because you don't get to see that moment of her accepting the award for Toxic. She was nominated for Womanizer, so it seems like this should be televised.
I totally agree. Given how deeply electronic music is embedded into our culture, like I think it definitely deserves it. And like you, I would love to see these people accepting the awards on television rather than having to go find it online.
Now, you talk about the culture. I know you're deep in it, so tell me, what are some of the new EDM acts I should be checking out?
There's so many. Madeon, who's already been nominated for a Grammy, but he's so cool. He's French. He's kind of like the next Daft Punk or Gesaffelstein. He's really, really stylish. Major league DJs are the next big thing in house music, I think. They're from Johannesburg, South Africa. They play this style of house called the Mapiano, which is house music with just like a lot of really subtle piano in it.
South African vibe.
It's super cool. And then Alice in Wonderland is, I think, one of the most important female producers of our era, and everyone should be listening to her.
Now, I want to talk to you about the difference in like the DJ producer side versus these mainstream acts that have kind of been in the category. Have we seen a change with that?
You're absolutely right. We definitely have. And I would say it's happened within the last 10 years and sort of coincided with the EDM explosion, 2011, 12, where you really saw the category shift from these big pop stars that we're talking about, Justin, Rihanna, Britney, to the actual DJ producers that are making dance music. David Guetta, Skrillex, Diplo, Jaquel, the Chainsmokers. It really kind of started to more fully embrace the actual dance scene.
And this was a personal question because now you have me interested. 2011, that was like the Black Eyed Peas, Lady Gaga kind of time frame, am I right?
Exactly. So it was right when things were shifting because it was Black Eyed Peas, Lady Gaga, but of course David Guetta produced I Got a Feeling. And so it's right when this turn was happening, and it's when Avicii was coming up, Skrillex was coming up, and the Grammys really fully embraced that music with this category.
Well, now where do you see the genre headed now that we've kind of went through that transition and got into the DJ producer world?
Yeah, I mean, that's the really cool thing about dance music is that it's heading in every direction. Any kind of sound that you want is available in this world, whether you want bass, house, techno, it's all there. So you kind of just have to decide what sound is yours and follow it because it's all evolving.
Well, now I'm excited and I want to dance. So will you dance with me later, Katie?
I would absolutely love that.
We're dressed for the occasion.
Let's do it.
All right, I'll see you later. We love watching our favorite artists win, but honestly, a lot of us are just tuning in for the performances, am I right? Now here to give us an exclusive behind the scenes intel on all the can't miss performances tonight, the man behind Beyonce, Pharrell, Cardi B, and Megan Thee Stallion moves that we love, one of our Billboard family cover stars, director and choreographer, Jaquel Knight. What's up, my man?
What's up, Tetris? How is it going?
It's going good. I'm looking at this video behind me and I'm like, it's safe to say you are the man behind these stallions' knees, right?
Look, the knees, the ass, the moves, you know, all of it.
How you guys do that? My knees do not work that way. All right, so Jaquel, you know everybody in the industry. You've been calling choreographers creative directors. So tell me, what have you heard and who do we need to see this year?
They told me Bruno and Silk Sun is gonna shut it down again.
I mean, those two together are phenomenal. Now, who else can we expect to see a big time performance from?
I mean, and we know Lil Nas X.
Yes.
He's gonna come big this year and, you know, jaws on the floor.
Well, he always drops jaws. I feel like he's kind of a shocking persona. We love his outfits, we love his choreography, and I feel like a lot of us see ourselves in him, so I'm really proud of where he's going. And let's not forget, in 2020, Lil Nas X had Nas come out, and he had my boys BTS.
Hold up, BTS is performing this year.
Ooh.
big fan
What do
right
you know?
here. Hey, BTS Army, tell them to call me.
Oh wait, I
Leave y'all
actually do
alone.
need to see you
Look.
choreographing for BTS. That would be iconic. Somebody make that happen. Army, call the right people.
Absolutely looking forward to BTS. They're always well rehearsed, well prepared. They know everything that's happening on the stage. Super big fan right here.
Not surprised that all you said BTS. We asked our Twitter audience at home who they were looking forward to seeing, and a large majority of them said 3 letters, that's it. That was from Fairy G Papa, who knows exactly what's going on with BTS. Now from Calypso, they said BTS entrance, BTS performing, BTS sitting, BTS enjoying the show, just BTS everything. I can't deny I'm also excited just to watch BTS sit. Before I let you go, I do have to ask you about this. Kanye is banned from performing at the Grammys this year. You've worked with him personally. Do you have any thoughts on this?
I mean, personally, bad move on the Grammy side, right? You know, the land of the free, you know, if artists cannot be artists, especially concerning their personal lives, you know, why can't we still take the stage?
Yeah, and I think, you know, Kanye has been very controversial, but I think that's all stuff that's outside of his art. And I think you can't silence someone's art. I do wish we could have seen what he had to say.
And Kanye comes and shut it down. You know, that's a performance that we all needed to see. You know, he have a lot on his mind. You know, we needed that as the audience. So
well, I'm sure this
sad.
won't be the last time we won't hear from Kanye. He'll be around. I'm sure we'll hear what he has to say. Thanks for hanging out with me today, man. This has been fun. If you don't know our next guest, well, get ready to go to school. Last year, she took us by storm with her new album, Jubilee, and her New York Times best-selling memoir, Crying in H Mart. Now she's a first-time nominee up for 2 Grammys, Best New Artist and Best Alternative Music Album. Michelle of Japanese Breakfast is in the house, talking with our music producer, Chris McDonald, about all things Grammys.
2 noms, 2 major categories. That must feel absolutely amazing. How are you feeling?
I can always rely on reminding myself that I'm a Grammy nominee. So if like someone cuts me in line or something, it's like, well, you're a 2-time Grammy nominee.
So your past records are about grief. This current one, Grammy nominated Jubilee, is about joy.
I've got a 5-year plan, I've got a pension and 6 condos.
Lots of praise for Jubilee, incredible songs on there, but I hear your favorite songs you've ever written is not even on the album.
I wrote a song recently for an indie game called Sable. It was just exciting because I've spent so much time as an artist mining my personal life, and to write a song about a character was really meaningful, and it's a song called Better the Mask off the Sable soundtrack.
What can we expect from your next album?
I think I want to get really nerdy. I've been like listening to like a lot of like old man music, like George Harrison and like Jim Croce. Actually studying those kinds of progressions and what makes you feel really good in a specific moment in a song, when a song goes from a major 4th to a minor 4th, which is a very Beatles kind of move, and how to steal that for yourself is kind of where I'm interested in heading for the next album.
So we do a game that we were doing with all our guests. It's basically fill in the blank. You'd be shocked to learn that I'm a big fan of.
I'm a big Ariana Grande stan.
What? What are you talking about?
I love that she like has these really long nails and she does her own vocal comps, and I just feel like we'd be friends, you know, Chris? So I hope that I get to meet her.
I hope so too. The weirdest thing I do before I go on stage is
My band will huddle together and we stomp our feet and we all yell, "Don't F it up," right before we go on.
You probably wouldn't get this, but the person I would love to do a duet with is...
I probably wouldn't get this.
No, I'm sorry. You probably wouldn't guess this, sorry.
You probably wouldn't guess
I'm
this.
glad you corrected me.
You
You're like,
probably
I'm sorry,
won't
what?
get this, but like if you could pick someone to duet with. I kind of wanted this on the last record, but I would love to write a duet for Bill Callahan. His voice is so incredible, and I would love to sing a duet with him.
Quick sidebar, what's your favorite male-female duet?
Oh my God, I guess Islands in the Stream, probably.
I mean, we're gonna be friends, because that's my jam.
Yeah.
My prediction for Best New Artist is...
Probably Olivia Rodrigo. And you know what? Like, if it goes to a fellow Asian, I'll be totally happy with that. I think she's so talented, and you know, I'm like completely happy to be nominated. Of course, I hope that I get it in some ways, but I think she deserves it.
All right, my prediction for Best New Album is...
I think I voted for Doja Cat. I really like that record, and I think she's so funny and real, and I'm a fan.
On Grammy night, my goal is to...
On Grammy night, my goal is to get a photo with BTS.
Oh, that's gonna be an amazing photo.
Get a photo with BTS and send it to my aunt in Korea.
Michelle, thank you so much for being here. We really enjoyed this, and good luck on Grammy night.
These new artists are incredible. And now is what you've all been waiting for. It's time to sit back and sip some tea while we go deep on all the controversies, surprises, and disappointments surrounding this year's Grammys. We're all back, and I mean, look at this crew. I'm talking about it. The red carpet is about to begin, and the number one thing on everybody's mind are these notable absences. What's going on, Griselda? Fill me in.
So someone who will be absent is The Weeknd. But The Weeknd was able to score 3 nominations this year despite saying he didn't want any. And the reason he said he didn't want any was because last year his album After Hours received 0 nominations and became one of the biggest snubs in Grammy history.
And I mean, to be like, yo, my big album didn't win, so I don't want to win anymore. Seems like a weird situation to me, but it didn't work because he's nominated now.
Yes, he's nominated, but these songs technically aren't his. So the songs he's nominated in, he's in there as a featured artist. So he had no control whether or not these songs could be submitted to the Grammys.
Yeah, because I'm sure artists is like, if I have a collaboration with The Weeknd, well, I'm going to
Let's get it in
submit
there,
that.
yes.
Let's get it in there. Well, next up, we're talking about Kanye as well. We touched on it earlier, but let's dive right in. We talked to our Twitter audience and asked what they thought about Ye being banned from performing. At Faith and Yango said, he just needs some time to heal. I know he will heal and move on, and y'all have nothing to talk about, except we do have lots to talk about, and it's Ye. So Billboard, what do we think about this whole Yeezy, Ye thing that's going on with the Grammys? I'll let you go at it, Lindsay.
Yeah, so I do think it's a notable absence that Kanye will not be performing. We know that for sure. We still don't know if he's going to be attending or not, though. He's nominated in one of the big 4 categories for Donda. That's a huge feat. It's also worth mentioning he's nominated against Taylor Swift. So I think if you are anyone involved in putting a show together and you have that moment to have Taylor and Kanye in the same room competing for the same award again, you're not going to want to miss it. So I would think that he's going to be there in some way, shape, or form, just not performing.
Man, those two in a room together, mind blown. Throw Kim in there, and what will happen? Rania, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, the thing I was about to say that, despite some questionable behavior on Kanye's part on social media over the past couple months, I think he deserves to celebrate an album that he worked so hard on. It took him forever to release Donda because he wanted to make it perfect. He should at least have that moment where he gets to celebrate his art, because that's what he is at the end of the day, an artist.
Yeah, I also totally agree. I think he wants to celebrate his mom too. Donda was such a big artistic statement for him because of his late mom. If there is the opportunity to give a speech and, shout her out and the inspiration and influence that she had on his life, I think he would want to, get his mind right, make sure he's in a good and healthy place to make the most of that moment.
One of the defining artists of the 2000s, and he is yet to win an Album of the Year. So if he does win, an enormous moment for his career.
I mean, I didn't know that he never won Album of the Year, so that would be huge. And again, great, beautiful point there, Lindsay. If it's his mother's album that's named after her that wins Album of the Year, we need Kanye to be there for that. Now, there could be some other troublesome nominations. Katie, what else is going on?
Yeah, so there are some problematic nominees. There's Louis C.K., there is DaBaby, there's Marilyn Manson, who all have had myriad issues in terms of saying and doing things that are not really acceptable to many and most people. I mean, Marilyn Manson has been accused of some very serious sexual misconduct, sexual assault, violence against women. And of course, Marilyn Manson denies these allegations. And so it brings up a really slippery concept of how do we separate the artist from the art, and can you vote for the art itself, knowing that the artist that created it is maybe not such a great person.
Yeah, we're the news department, so we're always talking about all this drama. And I gotta ask you guys, anybody else feel sort of awkward if you're listening to Levitating and DaBaby's verse come on? Now I'm like, can I dance? Am I supposed to dance? I don't even know how to feel about Levitating, and that was one of the biggest songs of the year.
Stream the original.
Stream the original.
Even Dua Lipa herself, she said, I'm done with DaBaby on my song.
Hey, listen, we all have to make our choices. Now, there's some other surprises happening this year. Lindsay, what we got?
Yes, so another big surprise is Rock is back, believe it or not. AC/DC scored 3 nominations, their first time being nominated in over a decade.
That's crazy, so not just in the dive bars, also at the Grammys.
Yes, look, wherever you turn, rock is happening, whether it's pop punk or AC/DC, that's what you get right now.
I love that, and any other surprises we got going on? How about you, Katie?
Yeah, Justin Bieber is nominated in the R&B category for Justice, which is an album that's largely pop.
And I think that he's said something before, actually, about how he did not want to be nominated in pop. I think he wants to be respected as an R&B artist.
He very much does. I mean, it changes. His last album was very much Justin's R&B album and marketed as such. Justice is not as much that. So it's surprising to sort of see it fall into that category, although I'm sure Justin's very happy about it.
Yeah, and then meanwhile, you have a song like Peaches, which is up for Record of the Year, Song of the Year, does feature Daniel Caesar and Giveon, so it's great to see those guys get some shine. I agree with Katie that Changes from last year, which was nominated for pop, more of an R&B album. Justice, nominated for R&B, more of a pop album, but you know what? It is a surprise for sure.
Yeah. I think it shows the Academy.
I was about to say the same thing.
Yeah, I think it shows the Academy is listening. Like if you have a gripe, we want to course correct, whether or not it's right.
Griselda, what are your thoughts on some surprises this year?
So I think it's safe to say that we were all surprised when we saw that Phineas was up for Best New Artist, given that he's already won 8 Grammys.
Oh, I'm a new artist with my trophies here.
Right, but the thing was that, so the 8 Grammys were given to him because of his behind the scenes work, but this nomination for Best New Artist recognizes him as a solo performer. So that's the difference, that's the loophole.
Okay, we got a little loophole. I mean, it would be great to see him win. Him and Billy have been killing it. They won their Oscar, so good luck to them. Now, any disappointments that we're expecting, anybody? What do we got going there? Lindsay.
Yeah, so Brandi Carlile was, speaking of genre miscategorization, she was disappointed to be nominated in pop versus country, saying that she felt like she, could do more as an LGBTQ artist in the country lane than in pop right now. So she did make a note on that, which was a bit of a disappointment for her, but I think her fans are just happy that she's getting recognized at all. She has 2 nominations for Song of the Year, which is really notable. So whether or not, where she lands in terms of genre, I think that she and her fans are feeling excited.
I mean, I just think that's so interesting. We talked about Bieber and talking about Brandi, like to create a piece of art and then be like, I want it to be specifically in this category. This is what I created it for. Do you see that being an issue in the future, Jason?
Yeah, it's interesting because as genre collapses more and more, you think about different artists who straddle different lines. You think about these categories and does it go in pop or R&B and hip hop and pop and country? Like, I think this is going to continue to be an issue. And look, at the end of the day, I think artists are going to be happy to be nominated, but it is always a yearly thing of where it fits.
Now, disappointments, Griselda, I want to go to you.
Yeah, so Drake's Certified Lover Boy, which was one of the top albums of the year.
CLB.
Yep, it was overlooked for a Best Album of the Year nomination. It was up for Best Rap Album, but Drake and his management said, we don't want that. We don't want any nominations. So he is not nominated this year. And, in the past, he's expressed his frustration and disappointment for always being relegated into the rap fields and not being able to get out of the rap field and not winning a Grammy outside, in the big 4 categories, which again goes back to the alienation whenever you're labeled as a rap artist, a Latin artist. It's hard to get out of your field.
Well, I mean, Drake is so massive, so to take that stance is big, but I do feel like it's kind of legend behavior to be like, you know what, I'm nominated, can you take that away? I don't even want to try to win.
Something I think is cool that as we're talking about all these different artists who are unhappy with the categories that they're placed in, it's cool to see artists take control of their own legacy. And something that maybe we haven't seen in the past, and now artists have a platform on social media, with news, things like that, to say, no, this is who I want to be as an artist, and this is how I want to be respected.
Yeah, you think about Drake, he has 2 Album of the Year nominations over the course of his career. He didn't score one this year, but on the other hand, Drake is clearly a defining artist of the past decade. He has never won in a Big 4 category. Same with Justin Bieber, who could win one or 2 or 3 in a Big 4 category tonight, but it's kind of mind-blowing to think about the past decade of popular music and not have Drake represented in that way.
All right, guys, but before I let you go, I got to ask you one thing. Grammys, they're about to take over Vegas. Really quick, what are you most excited for?
La Bichota Karol G winning Best Latin Urban Album for Caje 0516.
Okay. She was ready for that. Katie, you're getting too much time to think. Your turn.
Oh, okay, so Silk Sonic opening the show the night after they closed their Vegas residency.
Oh, I like that.
I want to see what Olivia Rodrigo is wearing.
Okay, I hope she can top you.
She might borrow this. I want to see Olivia Rodrigo sweep the Big 4.
All right, we're going to give some confidence to Olivia and you, Jason.
I want to see BTS perform and win their first Grammy.
Spoken like a true army, you took my answer. We do hope Jungkook is feeling better. I can't wait to see my boys. Now, where did these come from, guys? I mean, I think this is a sign to start the party. Let's do this. Cheers to a great show and to the nominee.
Eye contact.
Eye contact. Everybody click. No bad luck here. No bad luck. I didn't get you.
Come on.
There we go. Thank you guys so much for tuning in at home. It's going to be an amazing night. The red carpet is about to start on music's hottest night. Make sure you head over to billboard.com to get all your updates, and we'll have a monster recap of the Grammys if you missed anything at all. Thanks again. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Cheers.
Bye.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'm going in.
Oh, I want it now. Cheers.